You're welcome back. With me in the studio is Barrister Jide Ologun. Barrister Jide Ologun is a public affairs analyst, public PR practitioner, and of course, a guru and a great Nigerian who is passionate about the development of Nigeria, and that's why we brought him here today, because what we are looking at is why is Nigeria like this? Why haven't we passed this stage? But be that as it may, by the time he starts talking, or as we say in local palace, when you begin to hear it from the horse's mouth, you know what we mean. Then, of course, I hope we've been able to link up with another Jide Ojo. Jide Ojo is a developmental expert. By the time he too starts talking, you know that indeed the stuff is made of. That's it. Mr. Jide Ojo, you are welcome. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Good afternoon.
My brother, how are you? He's joining us live from Abuja. And of course, maybe before the network does anything, I pray that indeed the network will cooperate with us and technology will cooperate with us. We'll quickly pick you. You had the prologue. Please, can you just speak to the prologue in 5 minutes?
Over the years, there have been party and low voter turnout, and it starts with low registration of voters. As you said in that in the advert we just watched, or the jingle, vote is your power, and it starts with registering to vote. It's RSVP, register, select, vote, and protect your vote, RSVP. So if you do not register now, your chances of voting in 2027 is 0. And it's a right of every citizen, and it's at no cost to you. The only cost is for you to get to the venue of registration. And NINEC has already made provision for online pre-registration, where you just upload all your data, and then you get a date for capturing, and in less than 2 minutes, you are out of INEC office, and then your PVC will also be given to you free of charge. But as to the bigger picture of voter party, over the decade, we've seen that the voter turnout, the last general elections, I think we have less than 30% voter turnout. And this is not all connected with the lackadaisical attitude of many Nigerians. But it goes beyond that. It goes also to the art of what should the electoral management body do to improve this voter turnout, which has not been done. There are quite a that they ought to do, which has not been done. Right now, there's advocacy around having all elections conducted in one day, which I hope will sail through. We are also talking about having independent candidates, voting for Nigerians in diaspora, as well as even prisoners also being allowed to vote, as well as people who are out of the country during presidential election. Beyond and above this is also the need to make governance work for the people. Oftentimes, people ask the question, what has successive government done for me to better my life? How have I fared in the last 26 years of this Fourth Republic? Have I fared any better, or am I faring worse than with previous administration? And that's why our elected representatives, 11,082 of them, needs to pull their weight and do things that are tangible for Nigerians to see in terms of infrastructural development, as well as raising the standard of living of average citizens. Because without this, even if you have all the electoral reforms, even if you are ready to buy votes, people will not be available to receive your money. And it happened in Ondo State. I was in Ondo to observe the last governorship election in September. No, in Edo State, rather. Edo State in September 2024. And even when there are votes available for purchase for as high as 20,000, people refuse to come out to even collect the money. Because as far as they are concerned, even when they collect the money, nothing gets done. So quite a number of reforms need to happen, but beyond it is attitudinal reform. If we reform our attitude to governance, the elected representatives could improve the standard of living of people, or the expanding the civic space participation, one of which is what INEC is doing now by registering more voters. We have 93 million voters on the voter, and with the current registration process, another 10, 20 million will be added, and that will be quite significant for 2027. But even if we expand the civic space, we do all the reforms, INEC must not block the opportunity by late commencement of voting on election day, and voters must be appropriately distributed into polling units. Right now, Barrister Ogmade, it will shock you that when INEC had additional 50-something thousand polling units, the distribution of voters have remained lopsided. In some polling units, you will see up to 2,000, 3,000 voters, and in a contiguous polling unit, you only have 50 people. And that is why, even in the last general election, INEC could not deploy to all the polling units because some of the polling units have 0 to 50 at those polling units. And that's why INEC have a lot of work to do in terms of redistribution of voters. Voters should not be more than 500 at any of the. But situations where you have thousands in one and less than 50 in another is quite unwholesome. And I think INEC should work on redistribution of voters and making sure that they post people to areas, polling units contiguous to where they live, so that
Yes, thank God for our network. In fact, it's as if you are with me in the studio here and really very clear. So again, I won't let you go. I'll quickly ask 1 or 2 questions before I let you go, or at least to now for you to be in standby. The first one, I know you have a working relationship with INEC. We want this docility to be out. The docility has encouraged audacity. Audacity in the sense that the politicians knows that the voters don't worry. And we both observe elections. We see that in some cases, a 200, 2,000 polling unit point, there are only 50 people, sometimes 20 people, sometimes 10 people coming to vote. And of course, the politicians are happy about it. They take advantage of that. And to them, is business as usual, to the detriment of we, the voters. How can we address that?
Well, one of what we are doing this afternoon, which is voter enlightenment or voter education, it's important for people to know that when they don't come out to vote, they could not, they've lost their opportunity to complain if there is bad governance. And ironically, while INEC has a Department of Voter Education and Publicity, to the political parties who are the main beneficiaries, they do not have. I should be corrected. Most of the political parties we have only have publicity secretary, but they don't have Department of Public Education and Voter Education. Each of the political parties should have that department and ensure that they are well resourced, because they are the primary beneficiary of voter turnout. So all the dominant parties like APC, PDP, NNPP, Labour Party, ABGA, and the rest of them, it's a challenge that all of them are now struggling to competing to electoral institutes. They want to set up, but it is more important for them to have Department of Political Education, where they will also join INEC and civil society to educate the public on the importance of their votes, and that their votes will count. Because over the years, the issue around that part, aside from what I've said earlier, is born out of the fact that people are not sufficiently enlightened. They do not know, and many elections are held without people in the communities knowing that there is even going to be either a by-election or a court-ordered election or a off-cycle governorship election. You may go to Anambra today and still take an opinion poll, and many people will say they don't know that they are. But assuming that ABGA, APC, PDP have their own Department of Political Education or Department of Voter Education, they can also complement what civil society organizations like yours and the Department of Voter and Publicity in INEC, what they are doing. And then it will be a tripartite. National Orientation Agency should not be left behind. And so if all hands are on deck, aside from that, we can see significant improvement in the standard of living of average citizens. And then the electoral reform agenda I've spoken to earlier, I believe with all of this, we should have a significant improvement in voter turnout for future elections.
Finally, on this leg, before I just let you go and drink water, not that I let you go, just go and drink water and just did the Agidigba, they wait for us so that I'll take your brother Jide too in Lagos with me. That question is, between vote buying and voter education by politicians, which one is the best to grow democracy? Vote buying that they engage themselves in, and voter education, which one should the politicians promote, and which one should the people too embrace? Politicians promoting it, people embracing it. Vote buying, voter education, which one?
The choice to embrace voter education. Vote buying is criminalized by our electoral law. There are two sections of the Electoral Act, I think section 124 and 127 or thereabout, that have criminalized vote buying, or what I prefer to term vote trading. And so the law has criminalized it, and there is a fine of 500,000 or 12 months imprisonment for those who breach that. So we haven't seen much of prosecution and arrest. We haven't seen much of arrest and prosecution. But the law has banned and criminalized vote buying. But if we are able to, if political parties and their candidates can embrace voter education, it will serve a salutary effect. It will have salutary effect on the generality of our democratic temperature. Because as it were, so many other countries have over 50% voter turnout. Only in Nigeria, we struggle to 30%, which is not good enough. So we are having % of minority, and that is not fair. That is not good for our democratic culture. That is not good for democratic consolidation.
Thank you, my brother. Let me just allow you to go and take water. They stand by you, no go anywhere. Just they stand by. My brother in the studio, Jide Ojo. What I will do, sorry, Jide Ologun. What I will do is that we quickly go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll now pick you up, and of course, we'll now move it up. Don't go away. I want to. I'm sure you have said when we said Jide Ojo is an expert. I'm sure you've heard from the horse's mouth. Did I call him? He's not a horse, so you have heard from him. You have given us something very, very sweet, interesting, and of course, open new vista. Be that as it may, we'll go back again. He's still standing by. As soon as we are back, we have from Mr. Barrister Ologun. We'll get back again to him, and we'll get to take it back home. Don't go away. We'll go come back after this short break. Yes, my people, the rains are here again, and after the rains, there will be flood. And we are told that this time around is going to be heavy rains. Heavy rains will bring about heavy flood. This flood, you don't know anybody. It carries anybody on its path. You know you live on the flood path. It is in your own interest to move away fast before the flood catches up with you. It can catch up with your properties. That is okay. You'll be alive again to look for another property. But if the rain and the flood carries you away, that one, you cannot be alive to tell the story. And that's destruction. And we don't want any stories that touches the heart from your own side. Please be wise. Take notice of what Nimet has said. Keep away immediately before it's too late. Come back, and we are going straight to our guest in the studio here, Barrister Ologun. I'll just go straight with you. And the question is, we are a resilient people. When it comes to elections and voter and this type of things, we are docile. What are the motivations that will promote participatory democracy?
Thank you very much. Let me commend our great brother, Chide Uju, for that wonderful...
What of me? Because it's your namesake, Ba?
I'm coming to you for the wonderful expose.
Yes.
You know, and let me highly commend Voters Forum and Barrister Ogwade for this awesome initiative.
Thank God.
You see, when you talk about docility, it means people are not interested, they are conditioned to just lay back. And you talk about the audacity of politicians. When politicians find that they have created that mindset in the people, they operate as they like, because docility leads to low or absence of accountability.
Yes.
So let me also join my voice with that of many who are asking that if you are 18 years and above, go and register to vote. If you don't have the voter's card, INEC is embarking on registration of voters right now, and that is your ticket. And voting is your civic responsibility. You know, God said in Genesis chapter 1 verse 3 that let there be light, and there was light. So your voter's card and your voting may bring the light that we illuminate the expectations we have concerning our great country. So, talking about motivation for participatory democracy, I want to use the template of Switzerland. You know, democracy started in Athens, in Greece, many years ago, which simply means people in a community coming together to ask, how do we manage our resources? How do we advance the fortunes of the community? And everybody could make contributions, and they implement the contributions. Then as more societies came to latch into this democracy, it became representative to the extent now that even though we are over 200 million in Nigeria, we only have 109 senators to represent us, 360 House of Reps member, then the houses at the state level. But the expectation of good governance are still intact. Accountability, justice, transparency, you know, sustainable development, they are still there. So in Switzerland, Switzerland has three basic levels: the canton, the state, and the federal. And Switzerland has the most brilliant participatory democracy template in the world, because even on issues like building hospitals or spending the money of the people, you must vote for it. They frequently vote on things that concern them. And that's why Switzerland is one of the richest countries in the world. And Switzerland is rated as having political stability and economic vibrancy. So you see that the people are carried along. Now, in comparison to our environment, for instance, and I'm speaking to the precedents we have on ground. In a country where the constitution says sovereignty belongs to the people, and you discover that that sovereignty is only expected to be exercised during elections, but when it comes to governance, sovereignty belongs to some other people who are few, because we are talking of the commonwealth of the country for the common good of the majority of the citizens. And if you look at section 16 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, it states clearly that the resources should not be managed in a way that wealth should be concentrated in the hands of a few. But what do we have in Nigeria? To the extent that poverty has become weaponized. And that speaks to the docility. Barrister Gwande is here. You are not going to trade your voting rights for any amount of money. I know. I'm here.
No
I'm
way.
not going to pick any money from any politician.
No way.
But in a country where about 135 million citizens are judged to be poor, then it becomes easy for vote traders. The last election, was it in Kano or so?
The by-election.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody was caught about 26 million naira.
Yes.
To buy votes.
All over, including nearby Peru here in Ogun State.
And like Mr. Chide Ojo mentioned, these activities are punishable.
Yes.
But who has been punished?
Nobody.
Now INEC has come out to say that some are already campaigning. When Section 94 of the Electoral Act states clearly that campaign should not start earlier than 150 days before the actual election.
Yes.
And should stop at least 24 hours before the actual election. But in respect of starting before 150 days, there is no penalty in that law. In respect of stopping 24 hours before election, the penalty is just 500,000 naira. That somebody, a party agent can roll out.
Not even a party faithful.
So it shows that we have not protected democracy.
Yeah.
I just told us about Switzerland.
Yeah.
Even if the federal decide to embark on a project in Switzerland, the people at the canton level that you can reckon as ward level in Nigeria, if they vote against it, that project will not be carried out. And that shows accountability. We want to know what is the benefit to the society. But here, just see leaders coming out to say, okay, we are giving solar power to one community. A community that should have security to farm, that should have tractors. You are bringing solar. They don't need it. We talk about needs of the society. So these are issues. And right now, people are tired. But we are appealing to them. Like I started, go and register if you sort yourself out, be prepared to vote. But people are tired that when we vote, these votes don't count. And we believe in precedents in law.
Yes.
Let me also bring out a brilliant precedent that is still hot now. Look at the recent local government election in Rivers State.
Yes.
Some of us heard that it has been negotiated. 20 local government areas
for one
to APC, 3 local government areas to PDP, and the result came out exactly like that. So where is the contribution of the people? And the people will just lay back and say, okay, since you power brokers are there, go ahead, we are not interested. And it's a dangerous development. Number one, for those who are in authority, they have a bastardized authority, an authority that is not clean before God and man. And God says sin is a reproach to the people.
Yes.
So it's not just about forcing your way to office. And now let's talk about forcing your way to office. We understand that after the state of emergency or whatever declared in Rivers State, the sole administrator went visiting the president in Aso Villa with the EFCC chairman and the Minister of Finance, and because he is now requesting that his tenure in office should not be probed. What kind of a nation is that? You see, so we have distrust at all levels. You hear of billions of naira disappearing here, trillions of naira disappearing there.
That is my problem about this docility. Are they entitled to such amount of money to the detriment of we the people? Because it's a commonwealth. That's my problem. If you can help me solve this problem.
The commonwealth has been hijacked by the uncommon people. Yes. A politician actually said that there is uncommon politics.
Okay.
You see, and talking about the docility of the people, can you blame the people? Look at a situation in this country where some police officers, and I respect the police force, brilliant minds are there, but some officers just took laws into their hands and became tyrants. And the citizens rose up that no, end SARS. We have not recovered from the Lekki massacre.
Yes.
The toll gate massacre.
Yes.
And widespread denial. Even when eventually at a time there was mass burial to be conducted. So when you saw the lives wasted and the position of government in confronting expressions of displeasure in some manifestations, then who wants to die? That is the issue. Nigerians are not like the people of Nepal. Okay. Nepal Gen Zs, we are talking of Generation Z, came out and destabilized and brought that government to a standstill because they confronted the guns. They were ready to die.
Yes.
But Barrister Gwade, who won't die for Nigeria?
Nobody. I have a question for the two of you. I'm sure Mr. Ojo is on the other side there, and that is the issue of violating the INEC regulation about no campaign that some politicians have started. I know by my working relationship with INEC that they have regulations. They have the power to regulate the political space. So if anybody wants to pollute the political space, my own remedy will be that such persons will be blacklisted, that for 5, 10, 20 years, you can, they are the ones that will register them. Even if it comes to the issue of independent candidate, they are the ones that will put the person on the ballot. Nobody can do it without the authority of INEC. That can stand. Is it not possible? I'm coming to you, Mr. Ojo in Abuja.
Of course, it is possible, but you need to look at the macro systemic issue.
A mad situation demands a mad solution. We can't continue. 500,000 naira, just as you said, a party agent can pay that amount.
It's not even about that. I'm talking of the macro systemic deficiency.
Okay, okay.
Now I just told us, Mr. Ivas, let me put it that way, went to Aso Villa. If you are probing someone in office, what's the business of going to Aso Villa? Can't somebody petition the FCC and you go after? You know what I mean? So we have these laws, they are there. Okay. So INEC will be crying, oh, we have laws so that we cannot implement. So Section 4 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended says that the National Assembly has power to make laws for the peace, orderliness, and good government in Nigeria. And so why is that law weak? Even if it is weak, then why don't you go back? After all, some of them presented bills to force eligible Nigerians to vote.
Let me put it to Mr. Ojo in Abuja. And I know that he knows that they are working on the Electoral Act, and he knows that, of course, that they are not touching and looking at these issues of violation. Mr. Ojo, can you lead us into this?
The situation you are trying to paint is a situation which is not attainable. You cannot blacklist or ask INEC to blacklist a party from presenting candidates. And do you know that the main culprit in this premature campaign is even the president of Nigeria? So how do you want to say you are blacklisting him from contesting 2027 election and you will not create a constitutional crisis? So it's an ideal, it's an utopia. The National Assembly, who we look up to amend the law and tighten the nuts and bolts of all of this impunity, are themselves the culprits. They are the ones that will always leave the weak points, and a chain is as strong as its weakest point. You know, when we advocated and we won the electoral 2022, we shouted Eureka. We were so happy to have that piece of legislation. Did you know that for INEC to implement Section 65, INEC just
Mr. Ojo, are you still there? Mr. Ojo? Now, you see with I to talk. Thank God we had a very good time with him before. But please, stay there if you can bring him back, because he's in the middle of something sweet. Can you help him? He's looking at all these.
Yes, I mean, I relate with that.
Please.
So, and that means we don't have a commendable respect for the rule of law. Because what the rule of law says is that no institution, no individual, irrespective of your status or position, is above the law. And it played out in the UK. During the COVID-19, what did Boris Johnson, what did he do? He went partying with friends. And the people said, no, it does not show responsibility. He resigned. That's what we are talking about. Recently, the Deputy Prime Minister of UK paid insufficient stamp duty on a property purchased. She resigned also from office because no one is above the law. But here we are.
But unfortunately, I don't know, maybe Mr. Mr. Ojo is back. If he's back, please, whenever he's back, just the engineers, please bring him. We have 2 more minutes. We have 2 more minutes. If he's back, bring him. The issue is that, is it possible to blacklist a candidate? I'm not talking of a political party. The party will present a candidate, then they will say, no, he has flouted the rules. He's not supposed to start campaigning. He shouldn't. We are not talking about the party now.
That is subject to INEC. INEC has prerogatives. Apart from having the constitutional power and the provisions in the Electoral Act, they have their regulations. And so it's up to them to what extent they want people to respect these laws.
Because if there are no punishment,
if we have weak approach to a sanitized environment, our laws will always be weak. Let me ask a simple question. Could this have happened in Japan?
No way.
Could this have happened in Sweden?
No way.
Could this have happened in Luxembourg?
Oh, you're in Switzerland.
Or Switzerland. So it's all about who we are.
Weak institutions.
You know, we have many examples. Look at what happened to Honorable this in the UK organ harvesting and
Ekweremadu.
Very sensational thing. I don't wish any family will go through what they went through. But look at UK. UK said no. A crime has been committed. We know you are honorable in Nigeria, but here we apply our laws. A Nigerian just got convicted in the US for what? For facilitating a bribery to have access to oil drilling in Nigeria. He collected about $2.1 million, and American government investigated, and he's likely to go to prison for 50 years. But how do we implement our laws in Nigeria? So when people realize that, so what's the big deal? So they go out there openly, flout the laws, and we are talking of a nation.
So laws are easily breached rather than obeyed in Nigeria.
In fact, for some, the joy of being in an exalted position is enjoyed by trampling on the laws of the land, that we are untouchables. Honorable Dele Alake said, that powerful people are behind illegal mining. Who are the powerful people? Who are the oil thieves in Nigeria? Who are the sponsors of Boko Haram and terrorism in this country? So we have several issues.
It's all right.
Look at what Erufai said.
Mr. Ojo, is he back? Huh. This is my pastor in me. You know, I said that we just quickly have him before he may disappear.
It's where we are, you know, technical glitch.
I thank God for the spirit. This matter, this part one, we have not concluded. For this one, Mr. Barrister Ojo, do you give me your word that you'll be with us next week by the grace of God?
Ologun.
But Ologun, I have two GDs, so Barrister Ologun. Do you, because
by God's grace,
God's sparing us, God's sparing us.
Time and,
yes, and
appointments
and on behalf of Mr. Ojo in Abuja, I've not extracted commitment from him, which I like doing on air. I hope he will be able to, because we've not gotten anything at all. We are just scratching the tin, and time just go bow like that. My people, don't worry. I know that very soon I'll set them up together, to bring them to this program, and we'll have a second bite and an opportunity, so that then we'll be able to even look at your text message. You didn't have time because it didn't sweet. And I know it is sweet me well, and it is sweet you too for us. So my people, don't worry. Next week is going to be another time.